This week in Jamaica Now, the collapse of the Cash Plus case. The DPP says she should not be blamed. Carlos Hill promises to refund investors.
That will definitely happen.
8 people arrested following deadly blast at England's Manchester Arena. U.S. judge overturns 4 life sentences for Jamaica-born sniper Lee Boyd Malvo. And St. James computer programmer arrested for trafficking a female student. I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. Cash Plus boss Carlos Hill is promising depositors in his failed investment scheme that he will be refunding them.
That will definitely happen, especially now that this is behind me, then we can concentrate on that.
Hill on Wednesday walked free of fraud charges 9 years after he was arrested after the case against him collapsed due to a lack of witnesses. Prosecutor Adley Duncan says of the thousands of people affected by the failed Cash Plus scheme, only 16 had given statements and only 1 turned up in court. The judge then ordered the jurors to return a verdict of not guilty. And DPP Paula Llewellyn says the prosecution should not be blamed for the collapse of the Cash Plus case.
For a lot of citizens, the painful reality is that they have lost their money. One can understand the pain, the frustration, and the emotion. But in the midst of this, once again, I have to reiterate that you cannot get a conviction against another citizen in the criminal courts unless you are prepared to give evidence.
The DPP says the collapse of the Cash Plus case is a teachable lesson to Jamaicans that they should participate in the justice system. The police say they are continuing to collect information as part of their probe into a stolen car in Pembroke Hall, St. Andrew on Sunday morning. The driver of the car, identified as Sean Davis, died after he slammed into a garbage truck on Spanish Town Road, causing the truck to overturn on impact.
The irony of the situation is that the Toyota Axia was a stolen motor vehicle and was stolen from Pembroke Hall. In fact, the lady who is the owner just bought that car on Friday.
The police say this is the 4th instance since the start of the year where a car thief has crashed a stolen car in a bid to escape. Overseas, 8 people are now in custody in connection with Monday's suicide bombing at the Manchester Arena. It happened shortly after an Ariana Grande concert. At approximately 10:30, a bomb went off in the venue's foyer near Victoria's train station. The explosive device contained nails, screws, and bolts, killing 22 people and injuring 120. Many of them teenagers and children. The suicide bomber has been identified as Salman Abedi. A U.S. High Court has overturned some of the life sentences of Jamaica-born U.S. sniper Lee Boyd Malvo, who was convicted for his role in a killing spree in Washington almost 15 years ago. A federal judge explained that the decision is based on the fact that Malvo was a juvenile when the sentences were imposed on him. Malvo was 17 at the time. Malvo pleaded guilty in the Spotsylvania County and agreed to serve 2 life sentences without parole. He was also convicted by a jury and sentenced to 2 life sentences in Fairfax County. U.S. District Judge Raymond Jackson on Friday overturned those 4 sentences and ordered the courts that imposed them to consider new sentences. However, the judge did not disturb the 6 other life sentences for murders Malvo committed in Maryland. Back home, 34-year-old computer programmer Karen Watson, otherwise called Shane, is to make his 2nd court appearance on human trafficking charges on June 21. He was arrested following a complaint by an 18-year-old female student that he used social media to lure her to meet him in January 2017 under the guise that he would be providing a modeling opportunity for her. The complainant reported that on meeting Watson, she was held against her will at his flanker home and forced to carry out lewd and sexual acts with various males in exchange for money paid to Watson. The acts were video recorded and photographed and released on at least 2 popular social media websites. The 18-year-old complainant has been placed in a victim's shelter. A team from the Police Narcotics Division has launched a multi-level probe into the seizure of 7 dolls stuffed with cocaine at a shipment warehouse at the Norman Manley International Airport. The narcotics team was alerted by the counterparts from the contraband enforcement team of the Jamaica Customs Agency that anomalies had been discovered during the scanning of a shipment that was destined for London, England. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, more on the Cash Plus case after its collapse this week.
You are aware that there is a backlash against your office. How do you respond to that?
This is why the office exists under the Constitution. When you are in certain positions in public life and you are sworn to act in an ethical manner and within the parameters of your professional responsibility as a prosecutor, the slings and arrows of public life are part of your daily companion. We prosecute cases all over Jamaica. Dangerous cases, not so dangerous cases. Several of us have had death threats. I myself, as you would be aware, had a death threat in the Vibes Cartel matter. You cannot decide, like a lot of other members of the public, to disengage because of fear, or because of frustration, or because you're afraid, or because you just want to give up. If that is how you're going to be, then you should not be in this line of work. We are paid by the taxpayers of this country to do our job. But the teachable moment, again, underscores the fact for the public that we operate within particular parameters. And to do otherwise would be unethical and it would be wrong. But part and parcel of our responsibility is to be accountable and to face up to the responsibility. If it is that people expect a prosecutor to go into the witness box and give hearsay material, then, and because we refuse to do it or we don't do it, that the prosecutor herself doesn't go into the witness box himself, then all we can do is to remember our vocation as prosecutors, put our shoulder to the wheel and seek to explain as we are doing now.